In this video, I'm going to tell you the secret to abundance, to love, to all these beautiful things that we want. And it's the thing that is the most simple, but at the same time, so many people have such a hard time with it. And it doesn't matter how many meditations, manifestation courses, whatever you do, if you don't at least try this, then babe, you will find yourself lost. And it's just so simple. But before we get into it, if you're new here, hi, my name is Ifákóredé, and I help visionaries bridge the ancient with the present. Many times as spiritual people, we feel like, oh, we're just born in a different era, in the wrong era. Oh, da 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 da. No, you're actually meant to harmonize the era that you think that you're meant to be in and the present moment, the mundane. And so I help people bridge the gap between both. And today we're going to be talking about how to have an open heart, vulnerability, and how this concept, the concept of an open heart, the concept of vulnerability, it's so fucking hard, right? But it is literally the key to so many different things. And the fact of the matter is, it's essential in so many different levels of our lives. It's essential for us as humans to have a good relationship with ourselves. We have to be honest with ourselves. We have to be truthful with ourselves. For us to maintain and create and cultivate relationships with others, we have to have a level of authenticity and honesty that is going to be painful at times. But it's so worth it when you decide that you're going to fucking commit to it. And then also with the divine, with the creator, if you think that you're doing this shit all on your own, if you think that you are doing this all on your own, you're in for a rude awakening, because that hand of God is going to say, wait, hold on, let me move this around, let me do this, let me change this, and you're going to be so confused. Why is everything going wrong? And that's what happens when we don't have a certain air of surrender to our plans. We end up thinking that the universe is literally trying to work against us. But the fact of the matter is, when we master having an open heart, it all gets easier. It all gets easier. So I want to first start off by saying that the reason why an open heart, vulnerability, truth is because if you cannot be truthful with yourself, if you cannot connect back to yourself, if you can't be really honest about not just how you feel, but why you feel what you feel, you are walking around every single day with absolutely no awareness, no consciousness. You're walking around every single day on autopilot. And many times we think that the money is going to solve our problems, the divine partner is going to solve our problems, the new community is going to solve our problems. But the fact of the matter is, if we don't face what's going on here, number one, these things can't find us, but also number two, we'll always be unhappy. And if you just notice, if you can do this exercise with me for just a moment here, if you just close your eyes, and you can hear the sound of my voice, but just notice, is there another voice talking in your head? Is there something that's narrating something else? Or maybe as you're just sitting here and you're just allowing yourself to just close your eyes and sit for a second, you notice, oh, I have to do this, or I have to do that, or whatever the case is. Just notice that voice for a moment here. That voice that's maybe trying to pull you away from the present moment, that voice that's trying to tell you what's the next thing that you need to do. Just notice it and watch it for a moment here. And then I want you to, just keeping your eyes closed, I want you to just recognize that you are not that voice. You are the one who's hearing the voice. And continue to keep your eyes closed if you can. I want you to also just recognize here that you're the one who's aware of that voice. And sometimes that voice tells you that things are not safe, that people aren't safe. And that voice is trying to protect you. And that voice is trying to keep you, quote unquote, in line, whatever that means for you. That voice is trying to help you maintain the life that you know that you have right now. But in the same token, we have to realize that in the same way that that voice tries to distract us from the present moment, that same voice tries to tell us that it's not safe for us to be ourselves. That same voice tries to tell us that it's not safe for us to be honest, for us to be authentic, for us to be in integrity. And that voice, we think that voice. You can open your eyes now. We can thank that voice for doing its job, because the shadow is not something to slay and something to obliterate. Whew, don't get me started. But the shadow is something for us to acknowledge and to honor and say, thank you for trying to protect me. But if I want to step into the fullness of what life can look like for me, that means I have to start to be honest. That means I have to start to be vulnerable. That means I first have to start to connect with myself, and then that will allow me to connect to others. And we are all deeply just craving to be led back to ourselves. And in that guide back to ourselves and that path back to ourselves, we also find all the things that are meant for us. And so that voice that tries to tell you that it's not safe for you to be honest, it's not safe for you to be vulnerable, it's not safe for you to be authentic, that's not you. We think that voice, but we have to make a new commitment to ourselves that we allow that voice to protect us and show us, yeah, maybe there are real dangers that exist in the world. We all know that. But at the same time, sometimes that voice tries to protect us in safe spaces. Sometimes that voice tries to protect us in spaces that are, open and safe for us to exist in. We have two choices. We can either decide to continue to listen to that voice, allow that voice to continue to dictate how we show up in life, allow that voice to tell us that it's not safe, that it's not safe to trust other people, that it's not safe to be vulnerable. And because of this capitalistic, colonialist society, we as human beings have been forced into boxes of individualism, and we've pulled away from community. And because of these things, we literally have lost our ability to maintain, cultivate, and create relationships. Because not only does individualism cut us off from community, but it also cuts us off from ourselves. If I just do this next thing, if I just do this, if I just do that, then I'll feel better. But we're all just craving connection. There's no amount of self-care, self-love boxes from Target that's gonna help you feel more connected with yourself. You start being vulnerable with others by being vulnerable with yourself. When you have a moment and you realize that you've been putting the world on your fucking back, you have to be honest about how you really feel. You have to be honest about if you're tired, if you're sad. But don't let your story stop there. That's the thing that I think people get so fucked up with this whole thing. We get into this space of pessimism and we allow the last page to say, and I am tired, and that's the end of the story. That's not your last page. That's where we bring in a holistic view of the divine, a holistic view of God. God is not just a father, God is the mother, the father, and the essence that created both. And so what that means is we have this force outside of us that is guiding us, that is protecting us, that is also helping us with the things that are going on with our minds, with our lives, with everything. And when we allow ourselves to go to the divine holding so many faces. If you're an Orisha devotee, like how I am, then you know the divine has hundreds of faces. The Orishas even represent some of the minimum of the hundreds of faces of God, because we know there are really millions, there are really infinite faces. God shows up everywhere, everything, and everyone. But when you allow yourself to get to know the divine feminine essence that God also holds, and you allow yourself to surrender to this divine feminine essence, and you realize that it's not all up to you, it's not all on your back, it's not all up to you to solve, and you put your fears in the hands of the Creator, and you allow that simple sacred space with the divine to be your altar, that moment of vulnerability to be the altar, that moment of transparency to be the altar. When you make that a daily practice, if you can, even if it's just a weekly practice, if you can. We've been doing this in 7 Seas. 7 Seas has been fucking amazing, but we've been doing this in 7 Seas, going to the river and just speaking to the divine feminine. Not bringing a plan, not bringing this is what I need you to help me with. No, bringing our fears, bringing our burdens, bringing these things to the divine feminine aspect of the Creator that we all have been taught to ignore through colonialism, through white supremacist version of these Abrahamic religions, because there is a version of Christianity, of all these other religions that are not centered in the way that we know them to be today, which are centered in judgment, in the religion of right and wrong. There's another version, but that's neither here nor there, okay? But we have to realize that when we're able to find that sacred space, carve out that sacred space, just one aspect in our lives where we can be vulnerable, just one aspect of it in our lives where we can lay down our burdens, that is how we begin to open up the heart. The blockages of the heart, the samskaras, the blockages of the heart cause us to have a distorted relationship with our reality and with ourselves. When we go through life and we ingest experiences, when we have a hard time processing things, when we have a hard time letting things go, when we have a hard time with our emotional attachment, we develop these blockages within our hearts that stop us from experiencing life and experiencing ourselves. And we'll continue to have these samskaras, we'll continue to have these blockages the more and more that we're not honest with ourselves about our own emotions. So the first way to be vulnerable with other people, the first way to show up vulnerably, the first way to show up with the open heart is to start to be vulnerable with yourself. It's to start to be authentic with yourself. It's to carve out that sacred space in your schedule, in your space in general. Carve out that sacred space where you have an altar space, where you have some type of space where you are coming to the foot of the divine and you're saying, these are my burdens. I'm not doing this all on my own. I know I'm not. So the way that we really are able to show up vulnerably with others is first by allowing that sacred space to be carved out within ourselves. And the reason why your vulnerability and your authenticity and your open heart is the road to your abundance is because people don't just fall in love with things. People fall in love with people. People fall in love with intentions. People fall in love with visions. And in order for you to be successful in the marketplace, in order for you to carve out your space in the marketplace, you have to come fully as you are. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to have the middle, end, and beginning game plan. But you do have to show up fully in your truest authenticity. And that, I'm going to be honest with you guys, the words authenticity and integrity used to scare me because I used to think, oh my God, am I being in integrity? Am I being authentic? What's going on here? All this means is that you stop lying. All that it means is that you stop lying. A way to simplify this whole road to authenticity is by stop lying. When someone is asking you how you are, what you're doing, how you're doing, you don't just say good and you actually tell them how you're feeling. And at first it's going to feel uncomfortable, to be honest, because we have normalized lying in our society. We've normalized lying about how we feel. We've normalized lying about what we need. And this is how individualism literally is upkept. Through inauthenticity, through lack of connection to ourselves and lack of connection of others. And then we wonder why people are craving community, because we've been conditioned to only value ourselves and what we think and this higher self that we're gonna inevitably get to. Maybe right now your higher self is here already, but you've been blocking yourself off from that higher self because you refuse to be vulnerable and be honest with yourself. And the moment that you decide to step into that feeling of vulnerability and that feeling of truth, and you decide to just fucking trustful, maybe that's when you'll find your partner. Maybe when you're honest with yourself about your job or your financial situation, you're honest with yourself about what I'm doing right now is not working for me. Maybe that's when you will find your path that will lead you to your abundance. Maybe you've already been on that path and you're like, fuck, Coredé, it's not working for me. Maybe then you can realize that the way that you've been doing things, it just has not been working for you up until this moment. And at any moment you can decide to change. But your blessings require you. They don't require anybody else. They don't require the perfect version of you that's prim and proper, that's everything is perfect, that everything is into place. No, they require you in your fullest totality. And so this is the path. The path of the open heart is going to be painful at first. It's going to be painful at first because we've all endured trauma that's taught us that the world is not safe. But it's revolutionary to say yes and. The world is not safe, yes, and I'm going to choose to continue to go forward. The world is not safe, yes, and yes, I'm going to choose to express myself. The world is not safe, and I'm still going to be soft. The world is not safe, and I'm still going to allow myself to approach every day with wonder. The world, all these things have happened to me, and I'm still going to choose to be present. I'm going to choose to observe that voice within my mind that tries to pull me from the present moment. Yes, and it's scary in this world. Yes, and I'm going to choose to fucking live this life as fully as I fucking can. The world of and is the world of the anahata. People think, oh, Anahata, this is all love. It's not just love. The Anahata is the ability to hold grief and love at the same time, love and hate at the same time, joy and grief at the same time, anger and passion and beautiful things, and anger and sadness, and anger and joy, and anger and peace at the same time. It's about holding both. And it's about no longer denying that both can exist at the same time. It's about extending your capacity for feeling and no longer rejecting feelings and emotions within yourself. And again, that's the first step to being vulnerable. That's the first step to coming home to yourself. The Anahata is so beautiful because Ogun in Ifa, my feet Ogun, he rules the heart. Ogun is also the most strong, fierce, powerful warrior in the Ifa pantheon. But Ogun also rules the heart. Ogun is in charge of creativity. And it's really showing that within the heart, things can be created and destroyed. You can literally erode your own ashe by ignoring your desire to create and express. You will be drinking poison, and you will literally erode from the inside out the more that you ignore your desire to create and express. In the same way, there's a story of Ogun. You call Ogun from the forest and you say, Ogun, smite my enemies, or Ogun, carve out the path. Ogun will just kill everybody in sight, because look, that same energy that can carve out a path is the same energy that can smite things down that you did not want to be smited down. It's a very powerful energy, but it also shows that Ogun can smite our enemies at the same time that Ogun opens our roads. And so on that note, I want to end today's video with a little bit more of sacred Ifa wisdom. This is the sacred Ifa oracle, and I've been studying an Odu. As you can see, I'll be studying the Odus. As someone who's part of Sodé, you know, I study the Odus. I'll be studying the Odus. I'll be studying everybody's Odu. Okay, and this Odu is called Otura Irosu. Otura Irosu. And this Odu speaks of honesty as the only way to achieve peace of mind and harmony. May I say that again? Honesty is the only way to achieve peace of mind and harmony. I want to say a couple different things here. I'm going to read certain parts of the Apetebi here of Otura Irosu. It speaks here, Onikoyi would hold on to somebody else's property. Onikoyi would decide to convert the property to his own use. It was predicted that the matter would generate a heated argument. Therefore, he should make a sacrifice of 10 snails and 3,200 calories. He was asked to return everything that did not belong to him. Now, I know we're speaking about land here, and we're speaking about not being a liar, and liars being in business deals, which is one of the ways that this sacred piece of wisdom is interpreted. But I want to speak about what's not spoken, but is actually directly spoken to. Okay, it says here, he was asked to return everything that did not belong to him. When you carry around your trauma, when you carry around your judgments, when you carry around the things that you have been trying to release, you need to realize that does not belong to you. You're not your trauma. You are not the things that you have been through. You may be a survivor of this and survivor of that, but those don't define you. These things do not define you. When God laid out your path, yes, there were things that were meant to, that happened. There are things that were meant to happen. There are things that unfortunately happened, and there are things that fortunately happened. But when you carry around the things, when you view the world through the lens of trauma, and when you decide that the world is not safe, you carry around things that are what? Not for you. Otura Irosu speaks about he was asked to return everything that did not belong to him. These things do not belong to you. These things do not belong to you. The trauma does not belong to you. The judgments do not belong to you. Anytime that you notice that voice in your head trying to tell you, oh my God, look at her. Oh my God, look at this. Oh my God, judge and judge and judge, and just realize the extent at which you judge others is the same intensity at which you judge yourself. Oh! The extent in which you judge others is at the same intensity in which you judge yourself. And so one of the main things here that I want to speak about is the fact he was asked to return everything that did not belong to him. Yes. Put down the trauma, put down the judgments, put down, you're so scared of being vulnerable. You're prejudging how other people will see you. Not even giving people a chance. Okay? But then also Otura Irosu speaks about Honesty is the only way to achieve peace of mind and harmony. Again, honesty is the only way to achieve peace of mind and harmony. What are we speaking about here? Vulnerability is truth. When we have internal conflicts about authenticity, and in general, if we're having a hard time with authenticity, I'm going to actually back up here. If we're having a hard time with authenticity, that means that we have a split in the psyche here. There's a version of us that's like, I want to be so authentic. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to present myself in this way. I want to wear my hair like this. I want to, okay? And then you have this other version that tells you that it's not safe. The truth is in the vulnerability. The two parts of you meet in the middle with saying, it may not be safe and I want to do this anyway. It may not be safe. People may reject me and I still want to do this anyway. When you find the truth between the two, you begin to resolve the inner conflict that happens in the psyche. The inner conflict that happens as a result of two parts of ourselves battling each other. Two parts of ourselves battling each other for power, for control. I'm going to say that again. Otura Irosu speaks of honesty as the only way to achieve peace of mind and harmony. We find harmony not by dispelling. That's the thing here. We don't dispel the shadow. Hold on, y'all. I'm adjusting. There we go. We don't dispel the shadow. Please do not. I'm begging you, do not get me started. I will get started, and I will not be able to stop. If you want to know how to do shadow work for real, Genesis is in whatever link, child, on my website. But we're not trying to dispel the shadow. We're not trying to cast away that voice that's telling us that we can't do this and we can't do that and we have to be this and we have to do, and this isn't safe. No, that voice is trying to protect us. This is a very important. We need an inner system that's trying to tell us what is a bad and what is a good in our environment. If you are in the woods, you need that voice in your head to tell you that there is a fucking bear behind you, right? But we learn to have a different relationship with our shadow when we realize that we cannot get rid of it, we cannot dispel it, we cannot cast it into damnation. Again, the issue with any system is not the religion in itself, not in the system itself. It's in the dualism that comes up, the religion of right and wrong that I like to call it. The shadow is not right or wrong, but the shadow will always exist. The shadow will always exist. It's just part of our psyche. But how we resolve our relationship with our shadow is through honesty and it's through the heart, holding both at the same time, having the emotional capacity, having the energetic capacity to hold both at the same time. We be vulnerable. We start being vulnerable. We start showing up more vulnerably. We start showing up more authentically by carving out space to be vulnerable within ourselves first and foremost, and then allowing that to be the new norm within our lives. We show up more vulnerably and more authentically also by realizing the and so and all of the things that are happening, right? It can be scary and I still want to do it. We have to stop allowing the last page to be written on a bad note. So many of us stop ourselves at that last page. We stop ourselves and it's going to be hard. We stop ourselves and it's going to be uncomfortable. That's not your last page. Do not let that be your last page. Do not let that be your last page. Are you joking? You want that last word to say, and then they stopped. It's going to be uncomfortable, but guess what? Every single time you go out there and you do it, it gets more and more comfortable. I swear, I tell my partner all the time, I'm like, oh my gosh, when I have kids, they're going to get sick of me. Do you want this to be your last page? Let me tell you how this story ends. What? But we have to realize that the last page of our story does not involve. It can if you really want it to. And then I had no friends because it was too hard, and that was the end of the story. But that does not have to be the ending. You will exist in misery. The rest is still unwritten, child. Woo, put some rain emojis if you already at the end of this video. That I'm like, damn. Spirit is speaking, and I'm like, damn, that's what that song was talking about, huh? That's what that song. Okay, Natasha Bedingfield, she did her big one with that one. But we have to decide to be vulnerable with ourselves first and foremost, and allow that to be the new norm with our relationship with ourselves first, and that'll spill over. It'll all spill over naturally. That's number one. But also number two, we have to start to observe that voice that is constantly talking to us. Observe that voice, and realize that that's not you. Go into the feelings that come up. Allow yourself to observe discomfort and decide to move forward anyway. Y'all, I'm gonna end it here. Again, put some rain emojis if you got all the way to the end of this video. It's been so amazing teaching 7Cs. I know you guys, I've been a little bit away for a couple weeks, but 7Cs has been so beautiful, so enriching, and yeah. Woo! If you want to join the next container, it's going to be Hidden Divinity launching on April 27th. So this is for all the people who have a lot religious trauma. Time to come to the front. If you got religious trauma, come to the front. If you want to heal your relationship with God and start really manifesting with the Creator, come to the front. If you're ready to put down all the techniques and I'm going to go to sleep, but I'm going to write it down 3 times a day and I'm going to do this, but I really just want to bring in the things that are for me and have it be effortless, come to the front. Ciao. I love you guys so much. Odabo, I'll talk to you later. Bye.